Hi everyone, today's the 31st of March 2025. Welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Minna Crichton. So I'm the narrator of this video clip and all my other video clips. So I'm just going to do the usual and carry on with the introduction. Then I will talk about the topic that's on my heart today. So on my YouTube channel, it is my true life facts coming, me myself actually talking about it and actually bringing it to live, and it is definitely criminal evidence and video clips relating to the facts in my court cases that is currently in the civil jurisdiction and criminal. So it is about my personal entity, my personal testimony, my professional life, and my court case and my private life. Okay, so basically I'll start off with this. It is a criminal case, okay? So I'm talking about, and I'm also the actual victim of crimes in my case. So when a person, a private investigator, or like when judges make judgments in court, or barristers making, putting their case to the court, the whole idea is that what they present to the court and the judgments made on paper or those in fiduciary duty operate with integrity rather than making the wrong acts that could, backfire on them as an individual. Okay, so we're dealing with an individual profile. So I just want you guys to get the mindset of where I'm coming from. Cut out the emotions. I'll try, and it's hard for me to actually cut out the emotions sometimes because I'm actually reliving the incidents. I am actually talking about the actual incidents in my journey. But some of them are quite deep, and it's just so deep that it does. I'm only human, and so it does have an effect on me emotionally, and then obviously I get all teary-eyed and that. But that's me. It just proves that I'm only human. But I have left out a lot of details of the actual incidents that occurred, because, like I said, the real life facts coming to life from my own mouth. And I am actually the aggrieved victim historically. People have used me periodically and in different sequences and incidents periodically, making my case a very serious case. But I am dealing with my own personal property, which is my entity, my identity, things that I own and created myself, my ideas, my intellectual property, obviously my life and of the person, which is, me being a living human being. I'm not dead, I'm alive. And anything that is tangible property that refers to me, that legally belongs to me, or at some point at time it was mine originally. So anything tangible property, like anything that's not mentioned but it belongs to you or it's yours, the existence of the person, anything to do with that, anything documentation or the like. Okay, so that's the whole purpose, I believe. God has actually led me to do what I'm doing, and as years have gone by, the revelation of why God chose me to do what I'm doing makes more sense as the new age technology system has transitioned over the old system, where it takes people away from one-on-one consultation with normal people. There's clear evidence of home invasion, clear evidence of interference from people globally, and it's quite clear that they have used me like a product, which is illegal. So this is the reason why they've dug up my past, to see whether I qualify to do what they think I should be qualified for. But this is like my personal experience. So do excuse me if I do sound angry and aggressive sometimes. It is justifiable to God and to the laws, because I'm the victim. Okay, so victims always get over the defendants. Any generation, they come first. In the sight of the law and also in the sight of God, because victims are actually innocent. They're the ones who the laws are supposed to protect, and obviously you're either innocent or you're wicked, and that is a category that the system is, and it's either the system is motivated or is run by or grounded by integrity or honesty, or whether it's corrupt. You can't be both. And unfortunately, I'm actually opposing everything that has happened to me, because it's my right to. So also from my own personal discovery of what I've gone through, the legislation is actually made of different components and elements of an individual. That is what I found in my discovery and my research historically, from what I've discovered personally and spiritually, that the actual original laws that were made and created in the beginning were actually created by men and women who were actually godly and motivated in integrity, and they created the laws for the very purpose to protect individuals' human rights, Bill of Rights. And also these laws actually represents body corporates and your businesses, meaning that the same positive energy or positive spirit, which is actually integrity and honesty, should actually run through your whole business as one unit. Meaning you can't have people up here in hierarchy, and then on the surface but when they're serving the public, something else is happening. And I feel this is what has happened to me after they have done home invasion in individuals' lives. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so in any generation, even in this generation, it is illegal to demolishing of any human being. Whether they're rich, poor, whatever financial situation they're in, whatever country they're in, this is actually illegal, okay? So according to the laws, the penalty is 20 years imprisonment. So you'll get to have advantage or, full access to actually educate yourselves, because a lot of what I am putting out there on social media is actually a real life individual human trafficking case of an individual, which is me. I'm the original, but it does involve a lot of people trafficking in people by means of cohesion and deception. Okay, so it is organized crime. But like I said, the legislation itself is actually made of different laws and components and elements, but it's actually in relation to a human being for the purpose to actually protect the human being from being hurt, damaged, or other people trying to, murder them. So I'm evidence to that. But all my other clips you'll find actually really beneficial. So a lot of it is not actually out yet on public, but I'm working on that. I'm going to try and make it accessible for everyone eventually. But it is about me, okay? It is about my personal entity. I'm talking, in clips, but all this, my channel is actually relevant now, and it's, I'm really glad I've done what I've done, because it is now actually sufficient evidence for my court cases in the criminal jurisdiction. So this picture here, if you can see, I'll explain why I did it like this, is that in the middle, inside is myself. And so the arrows actually represent an alliance, or the things that are blocking me, or the other alliance, like I'm trapped in here. Okay, so I'm a left behind case. I'm trapped. And then these people around here is another set of people, operating, controlling these people. So I'd say these people would actually, from my point of view and my set of circumstance that is current, would represent the call centers and the front people at the front counter. Okay, then over here we've got, like they say, it's their manager. Okay, and then over here there's another person here, another group of people here, and then maybe up here we've got people in government. But it is a global game. That's a scary thing about what I've discovered. I know I shouldn't be alive today, but as I put my whole life together and my journey I've gone through, I'm like even really flabbergasted that I'm still alive to even tell the story. But yeah, so I feel God has taken me out in advance to experience what I've gone through and to also put what I'm doing globally, because I know not everyone is into social media. I was brought up with not having a TV, or I don't like social media. I still don't like social media. I would prefer my old private life back. But the reality is, secret societies are secretly taking over innocent civilians and their families and stealing off them while they're actually minding their own business. So that, it's quite pointless having a government if they're not actually protecting the innocent civilians. But what I've been subject to globally is definitely has been a global a mainstream of a negative force secretly in the moment, in the public, keeping the victims in the public, using them. And then the whole idea is to eliminate them while other people steal and benefit off their hard work, their ideas, and things that actually originally belongs to them. So this is the disadvantage of the technology system. So I recommend, I don't recommend to be sheltered. I believe you're just endangering yourself. But however, the government's responsibility is to protect the innocent civilians and from organized crime. And organized crime is actually the worst methods system. The gangs, the mafias, and corrupt extremists, white collar crimes is really easy to take place, and that's exactly what I have been subject to historically, and that is what it shows on my profile. Okay, so we're dealing spiritually, we're dealing the opposing allies according to the Bible is, the warfare is spiritual, it definitely is, so I've been blessed. I know the difference of what is spiritual and what is not. So sometimes when I put things out there, or the way I speak, I'm speaking from a legal terminology and also spiritual minded, and from personal experiences that I've gone through. And I guess you can't really be a witness to anything unless you've actually gone through it yourself, like walk the talk. Like for example, you can go and get a law degree, you can go and learn everything you can, but it doesn't mean that you're going to get everything exactly accurate. It takes years and years of experience and stuff like that. So I guess I'm just I know I've been richly blessed by God's favor over the years, and richly blessed by my gifts. And I believe God would have me to do what I'm doing. I believe it more and more to do this to help other people, okay? Because the system is really serious. It's really, 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 really serious. It's words cannot describe the horrific journey I've gone through. I've left out a lot of details on some of the serious incidents in my life, because it's just too deep for me to talk about. But I just talked about the basics, but everything is true and correct, and I would swear it on the Bible because they are my experiences. However, integrity obviously has opposition of those that hates the truth, or just oppose because of their own mental capacity. Their mindset is is warp. Okay, like, believe it or not, there are people out there that's, mentally unwell and should actually be caught and put behind bars. But some people do get a fetish of feeding of other people's pain and suffering. They do get a fetish of stealing and not getting caught. That is the reality of human nature and human mankind. So this makes it very dangerous for anyone. But I have found that, they are targeting honest and mature civilians, so that's why privacy laws are so important, because now we have a global problem. And even though I hate the technology and what I'm actually doing, it took me a long time to get used to it, and I'm still not used to it. But I felt, God was pushing me out of my comfort zone. You can't be a witness or understand anything unless you actually get involved. So a lot of my experiences, what I'm personally experienced, a lot of things I've done has been self-taught. Other things are from personal real life experience from my background, and just having the both of knowledge of both worlds, like I really do. I've been really blessed of that, and why. So basically, really, it's a good thing to mix, like diversity, mix with different culture personally, instead of all this division that's going on, caused by the system, caused by people who are trying to control, manipulate a specific group. That's wrong. It shouldn't be happening, but it is happening. But according to the law and legislation, historically, I can now prove that I've actually been animated or inanimated while I was working in my prominent job, working for the government, and that is absolutely clear on my property, personal property. So I have a very strong case against the defendants in my case, and in this case it's the Crown. But yeah, so I will just continue on. So focus when you watch my clips, just focus more so on not only mainly the laws involved that's been broken, because that's the key element. That's the serious problem. Like, these people are representing us, but they're actually hypocrites. Integrity, you're meant to be telling the truth, not pretending or covering up. Unfortunately, this is the reason why people with integrity get opposed and knock out, because the old system was very strict. They wouldn't tolerate a single breach. So a criminal lawyer and judges understand exactly where I'm coming from. I'm not the type of person to play games with anyone's life or liberty. I hate that kind. I hate bullies. I hate injustice. I hate anything that's wrong. Deception is just wrong, and I will oppose it if I have to. And I didn't before. I had to go through it and and persevere and just stay alive until it was my time. And now it's my time to oppose everything globally. It has to be globally, because they've turned my life into a game globally. But I didn't discover that until much later. So when you do actually watch my video clips, you will see me being just a normal human being. I'm not perfect. I'm very clearly I'm human. But they have abused me for a very long time. They have tormented my spirit. They have persecuted me, ridiculed me, and like intentionally. They're all intentional crimes. They do it also, like the negligence and the recklessness is intentional, so it makes it a very serious criminal case on one person. but it's just when I do react. I mean, I never swore. Swearing was not my thing. Before I was brought up not to swear, stuff like that. You know, I'm only human. Things I did as when you're children, you learn a lot from school, blah, blah, blah. But as the aggrieved victim, I have retaliated by swearing and getting upset because they've just like locked me up in a bottle and abused like a punching bag. That's not on. It's not acceptable. It's illegal. So you will find some of my video clips where my personality is, I am aggrieved, I'm angry, I've sworn or said, things I shouldn't have said, but I am just being me. I'm being the natural person. And when a victim is actually telling and describing incidents in court, they have to tell every single details. But a lot of things I have left out the major core evidence of what actually happened. I've just kind of like just touched base on the basics, and then I get upset because I can't talk. But that should be enough to let you know that it's quite, what they've put me through is actually really deep. But the pain and suffering, so I have found some people have made a game out of it. They've actually enjoyed it. They've just used different people all the time. And they are making money out of, of what they've done on people like myself. All right, so this poster here clearly describes or express where I'm coming from. So we're dealing with internal corruption, and it's definitely a conspiracy after the fact. There's no doubt about that. It's undeniable. The evidence is clear. Whether the people are dead today or they've tampered with evidence, they did exist. So there's sufficient evidence there to prosecute those involved, corporate bodies involved, according to the law. Okay, so this is how I describe how they have used me like a compass, pinned down globally, and people have pinned me down, and but home invasion is definitely taken place. That's illegal. Even now, what's the meaning? What everyone's done to me is a criminal case. It's illegal. Okay, it's no laughing matter. You can go laughing in prison for all I care when you get caught, because what they've put me through is inhumane. And what, me watching innocent civilian disappear, and just, I know some of them are dead, but is that my fault? No, it's not my fault. Okay, so what actually happens in a case like mine, everyone in government involved going backwards will all be made accountable, okay, for what happened, because I'm the innocent civilians. I was working in a prominent job, and what my working condition was terrible. Should never have happened. There's no justifiable reasoning why it happened while I was working. Common senses are breached, and criminal harassment while you're working in your job 24/7, and then going home and then hearing links in the in the public. I mean, common senses, eventually home invasion will take over, and innocent civilians will get hurt or lose or die. Okay, it's just like Titanic when it leaked. The ship leaked. It killed thousands and thousands of innocent civilians. So that is what my case is like. Okay. So keep in mind, we're dealing with a global game. Okay. So it is a relationship scam. So how can I prove it's a global game? Easy. Okay. First of all, I've been used for a relationship scam. Okay. I'd use Moana as an example. Okay. So the game involves secret people, like they've used me like an object, meaning so the people vote. Okay, so they've treated me like an object instead of a human being. But the people they're voting for are the people that are used to clone or glue to me to use to lure the men in, or make them, just being used as a tool, really a criminal tool, but they are being used by government people in public official jobs. So I'm just explaining the game. I didn't realize this, but the game is so serious that the actual women whatever country they are, they represent the women. So Moana was actually Croatian, okay, and she was actually brought up in church. So she was a member of the church. I don't know any more about her other than I know that she belonged to the Croatian society and church. Okay. I also know other things that I haven't disclosed yet, but she is linked to Pastor King. So to keep a very long story short, while everybody was making me the mistress and the other woman and ganging up on me and attacking me in my private life and abusing me and blah, 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 they were making me the other woman, but she's the other woman, okay? The people vote for her, the people support her, the people promote her, the people use her. They even used her for a movie idea. Like that Moana cartoon, it's actually referring to her. And there are bits and pieces in there that are referring to me, but they're referring to some very insulting things. So this is quite serious, okay? So that is evidence enough to prove that it's been a global conspiracy and this is what's been going on secretly. Now, Iko Hardunga, she was a police prosecutor. I worked with her. Okay, we worked together. I was a court registrar and she was a police prosecutor. There's a video clip about her I've proven on my diary with her name, evidence of her being a police prosecutor, and I was the court deputy registrar. But the Indians have used her name. The Māoris have used her name. They used her name as part of the Commonwealth game. So just keep in mind that these women do not represent all the good people in their country. This is a illegal Commonwealth game that is illegal, home invasion, stealing, cheating, deceiving the public, and innocent civilians don't even know that their life is in danger, that they're actually glued to people that are going to conspire and eventually kill and steal. I mean, that's serious, okay? So don't take these women as a representative of all their country, but the Indians definitely support it. I mean, all the defendants in my cases, they're all, the culture is, this is where the illegal Commonwealth game comes from, and the global coding, and then they're doing movie ideas on the surface. They're animating the victims, the originals, and then other cultures and countries are animating them. If you understand what I'm saying, so you get the picture. So I have to denounce things as things happen. And you know, Chai, she's Asian, but they've all joined forces. There's a verse in the Bible that clearly says that, talks about, well, you know, they can all join forces, but none of them, you know, they'll all be made accountable. I haven't got my Bible in front of me, but, you know, everything I have actually said before it actually happened has happened. So we're dealing with people, white supremacy, people in government, grooming other cultures. Okay, they're doing special favors for other cultures. I'm describing it from my point of view, what I actually see and what the evidence indicate, or actually states from my point of view, is that the other extremists, those in public office, are criminally grooming or pairing up together, doing each other favors behind the scene, to help each other cover up their wrongdoing. At the same time, they're actually secretly stealing. This is where Unison Dance Crew comes in, okay? So hope you'll get the picture. But these people, the alliance entails all the gang members that links to them, all their families, all their friends, all other countries who support the game, upon one single female. Okay, they've all ganged up on me, but they've looked at my nationality rather than me as a human being, like the object. The same thing has happened with Henry Cavill. But Henry's that, you all know he's an actor. He's a good actor. He's European, but he's also, but all other cultures have all ganged up on him the same way, by defaming his character and everything publicly. That's part of the celebrity life. He's only an actor, guys, meaning, I shouldn't say only an actor, he's actually a good actor, he's famous for all his movie and all the rest of it. But common knowledge is he's not legally minded, okay? He's unaware of his legal rights as an individual and his legal rights to protect himself from other people secretly stealing and taking over like what they have done. Okay, but there's a law in the Bible. There's a law in the Crimes Act that if you actually, for false statement by promoters, because some of these women they've used or some of these women that opposes me, the public are secretly lying about them, making them to look like they're the better person. It's all about the flesh. It's all about looks. It's all about, talking kindly. It's all about, acting out that they're perfect when they're all being groomed. Okay, so they're criminally being groomed. Okay, they know what they're doing, but they're going to do it anyway. They feel confident they're going to get away with it because they're being groomed and supported by millionaires, by secret societies, white supremacists, who are behind the scene, who have the authority by law to do this and do that. But unfortunately, in the real life of honest, integrity men and women, fraud is fraud. So I hope you're getting what I'm getting at. So these women are definitely frauds. They're forcing themselves, or they're creating evidence, and then all the other cultures are judging me, and they're all ganging up on me secretly, trying to eliminate me because of the game. So that's why when I ring the police, I get upset, because I've been ringing the police going back when the protective disclosure took place. The response I got from that female is exactly what I got going back. So all it needs is for a competent judge or competent barrister, criminal barrister, to listen to all those recordings. You can clearly tell that there is a consistency of pattern, a one stream pattern to be at that. And it's quite clear that people are just using me. They're stealing my energy, or getting a foot in the door to get where they want. They're using me. I'm still human, and I have not found it funny. So I'm the aggrieved victim, so do expect me to act like it, because I am. A lot of the details I've left out, but some of the things I cannot even describe because it's too painful to describe some of the things I've witnessed while I was working for my government for 17 and a half years, and trying to, manage my own private life. But I'm standing against it. And to me, my reputation is more important than money, okay? But these people, they're trying to fight for their money or fight for their reputation, because reputation is forever. But unfortunately, in the criminal world, the defendant, they don't get first priority to save their reputation. They don't. The victim overrides them in any generation. Okay. But because, whatever they're promoting, using these women, using their name, that becomes false statement, false everything, and it is 10 years imprisonment. So it's deception. If you look further into this law, that is what the law actually says. So guys, in the real world of laws, a conspiracy, my case is definitely a historical, after the fact conspiracy. It's a diversion of the system, and it is treated the same way if it was an indirect conspiracy after the fact. Meaning, it doesn't matter if my case is 20, 40 years old, it will be treated like warlike crimes upon an innocent civilian, because there's nothing in law that, or nothing I have done that in law, like legally in law, I have not broken any laws. Like, I haven't committed murder, or I've done anything to be treated the way how I've been treated badly by the public globally. Okay, and the way they've conspired secretly in my environment, my private life, and contaminated it, and stuff like that. So, hope you'll get the picture. All right, so this here is how you describe an exploited individual. Henry is exploited, I'm exploited, okay? So I guess God is definitely using both of us to actually expose the global game. And I guess, not many people would be brave enough like me to even talk about what I'm talking about. But it's quite clear that the system has diverted and it's endangered the public, and something has to happen to stop it from continuing. And but this here is the best way to describe what I've gone through. They're actually stealing all my good fruits and using it and keeping it for themselves or giving it to somebody else. That's what they've done with Henry too. And then they're actually living off other people's good, like, I know that over the years they've stolen money using me, and then they've paid each other and keep me pinned down. But that explains why I was going through what I was going through and can't go forward. Okay, so I thought I'd just go quickly over the laws, okay, because there's been a lot of changes in our laws, and there's been a lot of laws that has actually been deleted, okay, but it's been deleted for the reason to allow this game to happen without, whoever's doing whoever the perpetrators are, who are secretly stealing and conspiring using government, the government property, because not everyone in government is not dishonest. Everyone, I'm not speaking for them, but I am only talking in regards to what's happened to me personally, because I can speak about it because I'm a witness to it. But what I've discovered is that in the Crimes Act, they've actually changed the laws to protect specific people, in government from their jobs, like protection from liability, okay? Okay, so I find this quite, really, personally, I've who the heck put that on? But it's quite clear, with all the looseness, with the fact that I've been pinned down left, right and centre, and I can't go forward, and as soon as I do something positive, it's taken from me. It can only be taken if the person is in a bottle. That's the best way to describe it. They're exploited, and the person is being targeted, tagged, coded. Okay, so that's exactly what's happened. But they've put it in the Crimes Act in this section here. You can go look for it yourself. They put things like the people that are actually protection from liability. But unfortunately, I have a reasonable belief that it is these people. They're just using different people all the time and behind the scene, and they're helping each other. Okay? They know that they're going to go to prison if they get caught. They know that the whole corporate body will get shut down. So they will, use their jobs to sabotage the victims. Okay? So I believe that is what's happened to me in here. But this was never there before. There are other laws that they've actually used to actually condone people from breaking the law, and then they leave their jobs or help each other escape. So I could ring the police, and then a good person will come and investigate, and they'll lie. They're actually lying and covering up. But there's a clear consistency and passion of some kind of secret society conspiracy. Okay? So I just thought, for those that are old school, maybe you need to have a look at the Crimes Act and look at all these laws, and just common sense of the danger that it is for the public. Okay? And saying that just because somebody has a law degree, just because somebody, we're talking about good cop, bad cop scenario. Okay, we're talking about motive and intention, and unfortunately, that is the most serious and the most dangerous predicament for the public and even for the government, because what I've gone through can happen to anyone in government. I mean, we don't even know. I mean, so what if they've got a prominent job? So what if they've passed their degree or blah, blah, blah? We don't know whether their fetish, whether they've got other fetish things going on in their private life that we know nothing about, okay? But, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, some people are using their culture and their religion as an excuse to do what they're doing on victims, on their personal excuse to discriminate them, to block them, or to blacklist them. That's not allowed in any generation. So that's what's happened to me. The problem is they have attacked me, stolen, let the dust settle. As soon as I try and, I rise up again and try and get myself out of what I'm going through, they steal it. They're keeping me down personally, or they are personally trying to kill me. Okay, so I did ring the cops on the 28th of March. I mean, I can't even go to the supermarket without this alliance in my space. But I have a reason to believe historically, the women that are after the men, or whatever reason it is, that it's their alliance are in my space. It's their alliance ringing me. It's their alliance listening to me. Sorry, I'm trying to put it on, but I put it on my public. Sorry, I didn't put it on. I just turned it off. But here it is. Okay, so I'll just turn it off there. I won't go on because this video is going on too longer than I wanted to. But that is not on. I'm talking about going back to 2010. They were doing this, telling me to go online. The police were hanging up on me. The police were referring me to go for a mental health assessment. But that is serious. Every time I rang them, they wouldn't interact. But I have a reasonable belief it's all linked to the big cover-up of everything they've done to me, which is illegal. So the police can be prosecuted for that. The police can be prosecuted for that. But because it's a technology system, I suggest you record, to protect your own business, protect yourself as an individual. You need to build up your own case, because the other thing is we don't know. It might be somebody globally. It might be a gang. There are other times I've caught out the people in my space and they've actually I can identify them as gangs. But some of these gangs are linked to their family members in government, or they're linked to somebody in government and they're doing it on their behalf. And then they're actually contaminating individuals' private life. And then they're linking themselves to people that might, that will portray their own family member without even knowing the full details of anything. And then it makes them obligated, whether they're being paid to do something or there's something in their favour for them. That's why people do it. But when you ring the police and they tell you to go online, that shows me they're scared. That, they're getting paid not to be scared. If they're too scared to save the public and do their job and investigate, then they shouldn't be, be even a policeman or be even working for the government. Okay, that's my attitude, because it is the taxpayers' money, and that's not good enough. I know a lot of victims. The gangs and other people are actually stealing. They're planning, plotting, and stealing of individuals, stealing from their assets, stealing from their businesses, and then these victims go and try and get the police to intervene. They do nothing. Then they go to use their court cases, and that gets sabotaged. That's not on. But that is my experience. And all this system is doing is, is letting the corrupt people actually steal and make money because somebody rich is paying them to do it, or the gangs are getting rich from stealing. And you can't, like this system, you can't actually tell the difference of who actually is the gang and who's not. You can't even tell whether these people we're talking to is stone high. Like, I can't stand drugs. I hate drugs. I hate any kind of drugs. I don't, I just don't like the stuff. I hate it. So I oppose any kind of hardcore drugs to do anything to do with people's mentality. But we don't know whether these people we're even talking to are high or not. And they don't give all they do is give a first name, or they use the corporate body, the corporate body's ID, and that's it. But you can still prosecute the corporate body involved, even if the police won't investigate. So all you need to do is record, take down all the evidence, whether email, whatever, build a case, and then you can sue them. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm not giving up. Okay, some of them have lost their jobs. Okay, some of them have actually been stood down during the course of what they've done to me. But legally, by law, they should actually be pressed criminal charges against. That's why we have criminal laws, is to stop it from happening again and again and again, and being repetitive, and end up being a serial, money laundering by different states. Stealing off innocent civilians who are honestly working for, doing good things for themselves and for the community. So that has been my personal experience personally. But the thing is that they're getting everybody's family members involved, and then the white supremacists, some of them are guilty, not all of them. But it's quite clear that they are grooming other cultures, and then other cultures make them their god, okay, and they worship them, and then they go and sacrifice themselves to protect the defendants. That's the reality of what I'm going through. And then when real investigators come and investigate, they lie, okay. But there's a clear evidence of public deception, clear evidence of lying, clear evidence that somebody is glued to me, because of the intimacy is there. But their intent is to steal. Like Unison Dance Crew is a good example, and that's exactly what they're trying to do now. So it's after the fact kind of a case, and it's definitely are left behind. Okay, so I'll try and be more regular with the in-the-moment evidence, because I just need to watch and listen to the media, and I know exactly where they're at. So we're dealing with natural justice and what's not natural in reality. But they have turned me into a product and an app. It's definitely a home invasion case. They're actually coding in words, okay? So they are referring to me as like a grocery, I'm black, adulteress, okay? Because, a lot of religious people, they're judging me by the Bible. I'm not Jesus, I'm only human. Yes, I believe in it, but I'm just telling you the methods they're doing to use me. And then we've got the Māoris who want New Zealand first. They want to be the heroes, to help those in the white supremacists who have broken the law. This is the cultural thing I'm talking about. And then, they're doing each other's favor. And while the original are fighting for their life, other people are trying to actually murder them. That's quite evidential. And they know we're pinned down, but that is wrong. Okay, but I have to explain the game as it is and how I see it, And that's exactly what is happening. That is not fair on other cultures, other nationalities. They actually do mind their own, but that is not fair. That is unfair Commonwealth game. It is illegal and it is wrong. Okay, so what they've done to me historically is all intentional. So according to the law, every single corporate body and individual will be charged for conspiracy involving one person. Okay, so I'm glad what I've done, because, social media is not a good thing. I hate it. But unfortunately, you need social media for evidence now, linking to your court cases for evidence. So this is my evidence as the victim of a indirect left behind case of conspiracy. But interesting enough, I've been doing my research because, what's happened to me has definitely been a cause of a breach. Okay, and people digging up my past to find dirt to use against me, to defame me historically, and that's what's happened. That's what's happened to Henry. And then your eyes got to keep in mind that, even God's son, who's actually the perfect man that only existed on this earth, which is Jesus. Remember, he had he owned a business himself. But then they all turned up on him. So it was because of defamation and lies. Everyone turned on him, and the Bible describes him, innocent. He was perfect. He was God's perfect will in every sense of the word, and he was. Also shows that even men are just as bad as women. Human nature, men can be envious of another man, or women can be the same. So I'm speaking more so from human nature-wise, like common sense. Just because the system has changed, it doesn't change a man's heart or a woman's heart. Nothing has changed. They're just pressing buttons. But now, very serious, sadistic, criminal, people, who thrive on power and money and greedy of money or whatever it is, are using their jobs with the wrong criminal motive and intent, and just using different people all the time. But wounding with intent is actually anything to do with the victim emotionally, the way the victim's being persecuted and tormented, the way anything that they've damaged, like they've damaged my property. I'm in the process of doing that, pressing criminal charges against the ministry, my employer, for crimes against humanity. That basically covers all the legislation that they've broken on me. But it is 14 years imprisonment for wounding and intent. And out of interest, okay, I told you that they've actually changed the laws, right? Wounding of intent was actually the home invasion. It came from home invasion cases like mine, okay? Home invasion cases like mine in the Crimes Act, but they've actually deleted that, okay? So I believe that will probably get changed, and they'll bring back the old laws. But it is a left behind case. It is started from a privacy breach. And my criminal case clearly shows as a victim that I tried to use the court system. I tried to use, the laws to stop it from happening even before it actually happened, meaning the body corporates are all liable, and the individuals, if they're still alive, search warrants will be out to find out who they are and get them arrested, no doubt, for those that perverted the course of justice within the moment. So that is how it works in the criminal jurisdiction. And I guess whether I'm dead or alive, I'm just making sure that it actually happens, and also at the same time, to help others to have an awareness of what trafficking in persons is. But yeah, so that is my finding of what actually a home invasion is. It's a very serious case, and my case definitely falls in that category. I'd finish off with this. part of integrity is, it also talks about doctrine, like, the Bible actually refers to written and oral. The spirit of integrity is definitely comes from the Holy Spirit, and this is what Jesus was, and that's who he was. And I'm not Jesus, everyone. I'm just someone that God has used for his will and his purposes. So I'm nothing like him. I'm nowhere near as perfect as he is. So I just want to make that clear. Don't look at me as anybody like that, because I'm not. I don't feel like that. But I'm just referencing my belief on what I grew up under as an individual, and the things that God has taught me personally in my personal journey from both worlds. And also, just the revelation of cybercrime, and how innocent civilians can easily be attacked globally without notice or consent. And, that is our government's responsibility, is to make sure that innocent civilians are protected from those, who wants to use relationship scams to steal. But they can steal anything. They can steal your children. They can steal your organs. I'm telling you, they can do anything. Anything is possible if you are not aware of what a privacy breach is, and if you're stuck in circumstances like me where you feel blocked, left out, locked out. The corruption, you are being attacked. The coding is for the gangs to actually do the dirty, or whoever it is. They just need to look at the coding, and then they move. They are moved by the coding of individuals. So if someone is stalking you, they're using their cars, they come in their car and then they go around in circles, they're letting you know they're pissed off and you're targeted. They shouldn't be doing that. So take a recording of people who are doing that and take it to the police. Okay, that's a sign. Sometimes the gangs are actually driving at night with one light, just little things like that. They were doing that. So somebody has actually hired the gangs, or maybe even the gangs are the ones who are targeting you. But those are all the signs. Criminal harassment is 2 years imprisonment. It shouldn't be happening. Shouldn't even be happening at work. But it did with me. It happened at work. It happened in my private life. It just carried on and carried on. Other days it was worse than others. It was horrific, but God wanted me to show the secret darkness of the wicked, and I do know all of it, and I'm personally part of it. And so the whole idea, hopefully, God willing, I just leave that up to him, that new laws will come back, and just also for innocent civilians to protect themselves from very serious criminal secret society conspiracy crimes just by using the misuse of devices globally. So it's very likely that anyone can be in that kind of situation like I am. I just listen to the radio and I know exactly what they're at. I know exactly whether they're talking about me. I know exactly their next move. Congratulations to those that are doing their job, but I can tell that I'm winning because they're scared, and so they should be. But they're clever. They're still like changing their coding, but I can still tell. But I feel that I need to keep my case in the moment publicly, and because it does benefit everyone else, and also help the good, honest people who are investigating, and also a learning process for everyone. I don't know who's doing the training of these people to get into their jobs, but they're not doing a very good job. The whole idea really, and what I actually recommend is that they actually learn the laws that, like the criminal laws that will backfire on them if they decide to participate in anything corrupt. But like Henry doesn't care. He doesn't care what the public thinks, and that's his attitude with me. And I found it quite frustrating that he doesn't understand me, because that has been my weakness, is listening to what's going on in public, and it shouldn't be happening, but those other women are being used by the public, which makes them a no-no. And the fact that people in public are representing them and talking on their behalf, trying to help them win, I mean, gosh, it's just like, I can't even believe this is happening, but it is, okay? It's quite appalling, really, to be totally honest, and it's very, it's unbecoming of any government to even do that, it's just disgusting. It's just, I'm sorry, but I've been a victim to it too long, so I have to speak how I feel. It's really serious, because honest people like myself, I've minded my own business for years, and I'm still the same mindset and same attitude towards these kind of illegal scams, and to try to intentionally demote somebody and to lift somebody else up, it's disgusting. It's a real turn off. I'm telling you, it's a real turn off. The moment any honest people, people or government or business, the moment that they find out that you are a fraud from someone honest like me, they will not see you like that. So I know that people have defamed Henry for a very long time. He's actually lost his identity because of his celebrity life, and people making up all kinds of lies about him, that he's into little girls, trying to make out that he likes to have sex with little girls, trying to make out that he's a womanizer, trying to make out all these things, that he's gay. They've done the same thing to me, obviously. But when I got to know him personally as a human being, he is definitely quite the opposite. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, just because you are honest, you have to stand up for yourself. Okay, you have to, and you can oppose any information said about you that is a lie, or anything that you hear, like something that you believe it's about you. You can challenge that. You can challenge that in the civil jurisdiction, or you can press criminal charges against individuals or corporate bodies for conspiracy, coding yourself, and defamation. You can. So in self-defense, you can do that against anyone, okay? But this is the best way to describe, I believe, Henry's situation and mine as the original, or going back to Church of Christ, Pastor King and myself, because he was definitely one of those people that was like, didn't go anywhere. And then I was the same. I didn't go anywhere other than going to church or going to work, and then minding my own business with my family. So, so I hope that explains how serious what the situation is for everyone and anyone. Okay, so I've always been a single female for a long time, and I actually don't mind being single, but that's not fair. People have taken advantage of me and used me for trafficking rings without my consent. But it's definitely fraud. And yeah, so I'm just going with it. And, the system is set out, you die trying. I don't think that's going to happen with me. And if so, I'd rather be on the right space within my own conscience and before God for what is purpose for me. So I'll just leave it at that. So my personal experience, the people behind the scene, this Hey Alliance and the criminal relationship scam alliance are people that actually hate me, okay? Or people that actually hate Henry, or people that the bitterness, and to them they're so they're poisoned in their mind, that they just see me as the enemy, or they see the opponent as the object and the enemy, and they will sacrifice themselves. And yes, they will murder, they will execute, they will do anything for money, or just on for whatever reason they do things for. But it is definitely a hate alliance. The opposing allies, who is using them, know that they're just laughing and just waiting for somebody to actually kill or do the damage. But it is definitely a root of bitterness, of historical, defamation, of digging up a person's past. If if witnesses were ever to go forward for me, they would be able to witness that I have been the type of individual that have actually minded my own business, in which I have. Okay, so they have dug up my past, but there's absolutely nothing legally that would justify what they have done for me. So in cases like mine, it means everyone will get summons and gone under oath, and anyone who has perjured themselves about me behind the scene, they will be made accountable. Whether legal actions or criminal charges will go against them, whatever it is. But yeah, so there's consequences for everything and anything. So my suggestion is just mind your own business. I've always been the type who've always minded my own business. And if I want to know something, I will ask the original person. Otherwise, I don't care about it. But if it is something important, which I have done over with me, as far as Henry and I is concerned, with the other women and involved, lusting after him, lying and deceiving the public, trying to make out that he's talking to them, I still denounce all that. So don't be deceived, everyone. I know that in time the truth will come out, legally and publicly, but yeah, so I'm still denouncing all those what's going on publicly. Even they're using music and everything by coding, wanting the public favor. So basically, so it's me against, we feel like it's me against the world, but I am denouncing all that still, everyone. Don't believe the nonsense, don't believe the gossip, don't be part of it, stay out of it, mind your own business. But if anything, anything that they're trying to create to make look beautiful, it's not really, okay? Because I have actually seen a lot of rich men lose everything they own just because of a beautiful looking woman, or vice versa. Excuse me, it can happen either way. I've seen it happen in my journey in criminal cases and stuff. These people that are paying innocent civilians to do the damage or to do things for them, they're paying money or something in exchange. It's just not worth it, okay? I'm the type of person that they could never ask me to do something wrong, because I would tell them to go and do your own dirty work. That's what I would say, because I just won't do anything wrong. I won't break the law for anyone, because I was trained up that way as a law-abiding citizen. I have never also used my job to try and gain favor in a corrupt way, or make people like me just because of my job or anything like that. I have been one of these boring people who have just done the job, gone home and minded my own business, and I was more interested in keeping myself from breaking any laws, or keeping myself from doing something that may be illegal. So I was more concerned about my own actions and my own well-being, my protecting those that was within my private life at the time. I was more focused on that, and just focusing on my job description and why I was there, and then I would just go home, and that's it. So I know I have a very clean record. I am a woman of my word. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nowhere near it. Okay. But, everything I do is justifiable, and God is just showing everyone that I'm only just human. Okay. No one is perfect. And I'm telling you, if anyone went through half of the things they've done to me intentionally, I'm quite sure you will react the same way. Okay. So, so don't be deceived by people, with money and power, and just because they think they've got all that, their action has to be equivalent under the surface too, and also on the surface. Okay, so I'll end it with that.